Hello, hello, one and all. The time has come, and so have I, for Elder Scrolls 4 Oblivion Remaster, Remake. Never thought the day would come in which I'd see my favorite Elder Scrolls game realized in modern graphics, and I really hope they don't disappoint with this game. If there's one game I hope they absolutely nail, it's this one. I hope the memory of it isn't tarnished. I hope it only further accentuates just how awesome this game was for its time. And now, hopefully, it'll be good for modern times as well. By Azura, by Azura, by Azura, indeed. 7 a.m. my time is early, but we're here. There's no way I could miss this. We still got an hour left until the Elder Scrolls 4 stream itself starts. So in the meantime, let's hang out. Let's chat. This video is only called All Will Be Revealed. So I love that they're both trying to hide the fact that it's Elder Scrolls 4 Oblivion, but also not because of the 4, and that makes it pretty obvious. But yeah, this is one of Bethesda's worst kept secrets. We've seen screenshots leak that I've covered in past videos. We have seen information about it leak, but to know that it is for reals now is yeah. The screenshots do look awesome. I don't know if you've all seen the screenshots, but yeah, it makes it look like it's a full-on modern game. Yeah, I cannot wait to see the adoring fan with modern graphics. That's all I care about. I just want to know the level of fidelity that they've given the adoring fan, the most important character in Oblivion. Some might say he saves the world. In adoring you so much, the hero of Kvatch so much, that's what inspires the hero to be like, man, you know what? I gotta do this for the adoring fans. Clint Cook, thank you for the super chat. He says, crazy long shot theory. It's a shadow drop and showcase for Elder Scrolls 4. Then right after that reveal, they flip the Roman numerals around to a 6 and show a trailer for Elder Scrolls 6. Oh, like the V and the I, like it's from here, and then they switch places. And they're like, by the way, here's a look at Elder Scrolls 6. That would be some next level stuff. I don't think they're going to do that. I think they really just want to focus on 4 in this stream. And with 6 being so far away, I feel like they would dedicate their, I feel like they don't want to keep teasing people. They want to stay quiet until they're really ready to show Elder Scrolls 6. And, because they revealed Elder Scrolls 6 so many years ago now, and that's both made that press conference like something to remember, but it also kind of served as a bit of a detriment when people are like, okay, you've announced Elder Scrolls 6. Where is it? 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 And so unless they're fully ready to show that game off and they know that it's in a good enough state where they can really showcase what it has to offer. And I mean, Starfield launched not that long ago, so Elder Scrolls 6, it'll be quite a few years. That I can promise you. That random dude, thank you for the super chat, says, just want to say, Yong, that you have inspired me to become a voice actor. If there's any advice you have, what would it be? Wow. God, there's a lot. But the number one thing is, at the end of the day, it's about focus on acting. A lot of people think voice acting is just doing voices, and you could have the most glorious voice in the world, but if you can't express emotions, if you can't express the intent of the characters in their respective scenes, and if you can't make strong choices on the fly, then you're gonna be it's gonna be quite the uphill climb. Don't focus on, I can do a million voices. I can do a Yoda impression. That's not what voice acting is about. It's both voice and acting. The acting part is more important. I mean, there are some voice actors who have gotten away with just a single voice, which is like something close to their own. They don't change up their voice all that much, but they still get a lot of work because their performance and what they bring to the characters and the choices that they make are so strong. That characters come alive when they audition and when you pair their performance with the characters' animations and whatnot. So, be an actor. Act. Do community theater. Do whatever you can to get your feet wet. And then after that, go to D. Bradley Baker has his website called iwannabeavoiceactor.com that kind of gives you a rundown of what that profession entails. That's where I started. So I would check that website out. And you just kind of go from there. Then you just got to do the work. There's no shortcut to this, and there's a bit of luck involved. I'll be honest too. But it's that thing of like, yes, it requires luck, but you keep rolling the dice, and eventually you get some pretty crazy results, right? You roll a D1, a D1000. And you want to hit a natural 1,000, might take you a few tries. Yeah, but you just got to keep rolling that dice. Be persistent. Persistence is key. Because eventually you will roll that, D1, the natural 1,000 on that D1000, or the natural D10, the natural 10,000 on that D10,000. So, yeah. Train in the craft, acting. Look at iwannabeavoiceactor.com to get the lay of the land, and then persistence. Nobody just like that. This stuff doesn't just fall in your lap. You gotta work at it. Thank you, Moody SB, for the generous super chat. My biggest fear from this is that they hyper-focus on making it for a new audience by dumbing down the RPG experience. In your opinion, what is the worst you'd accept? Because this is Bethesda, LOL. That's a good question. I do hope they ultimately retain how leveling up works in Oblivion. I really hope they retain some of that old schoolness that Oblivion has. I hope they don't dumb it down and pull what Fallout 4 did with their leveling system and their perk system. Allow us to distribute points, allow all the classic stuff that RPG fans know and love. But maybe refine it where it needs to be, balance it and give it the enhancements that it needs and the modernization that it needs, but just don't dumb it down. Just build from what's already there instead of breaking stuff down. I don't want I don't want too much change. I want modernizations, not change, not deviations of what the original did. Tiberius Monk says, YongYea, your Switch 2 coverage has been stellar. The Switch 2 has been the best Steam Deck OLED advertisement ever. Keep up the great work. Yeah, look, the hardware of the Switch 2 and the games I've announced so far are undeniably stellar. Like the refinements that Nintendo has made to the Nintendo Switch are undeniable. It is a good product. It's just you just have to be aware of how expensive that's all going to be and how much that's all going to add up when you consider all of the extra expenses that Nintendo is layering on top of the base console. And I think if you happen to be able to afford a Switch 2, it's likely going to be a great piece of kit. And with how powerful it is, a lot of third-party games are going to come forth. So the support for it is going to be crazy. The first-party games are going to be crazy. And I think it's going to be a good console to have if you can afford it. But it's just, I remember a time, like, I'm in a fortunate position where, yeah, I can afford a Switch 2 and its games and stuff like that. But for a lot of people, like, I remember a time when before I started YouTubing, when financially my family and I weren't in the best place, where they would buy us video games, but that, that one game you buy would have to last you months because they can only afford to buy you one game every couple months because, they're just higher priorities than luxuries like video games, but they still wanted their kids, to be happy or whatever and have things that other kids do and have a good childhood by being able to play the things that they want to play. But that $10, like, the difference between $70 and $80 could be the difference between being able to get that game and not being able to get that game. $10 is a lot for a lot of families. And so when they increase the price by $10, like Mario Kart World, it just takes me back to that time when, that $10 difference could mean my parents saying no to me. Yeah, when I had to rely on them. This was when I was a teen or a kid even to be able to play games or to own games. I'd have to like beg my parents, right? Be like, hey, please, this game's awesome. All the kids are playing it or whatever. And my parents would be like, well, okay, but this, as long as the maximum cost is here, this is the budget that we have, and you got to make, and we won't buy you another game for a couple months because otherwise, we'd go under. So yeah, like having lived that life, I'm very empathetic towards folks where, some people are like, it's just a $10 increase, inflation, blah blah blah. What's the big deal? Well, wages haven't kept up, so like they haven't kept up with inflation, so it just makes those products less accessible to the people who are impacted by the fact that wages haven't gone up. And that means that for some people, it could very well make Switch 2 just something they cannot afford because the additional costs are so significant. So yeah, that was a long-winded answer to the question, but let's see. Did I answer the question? I feel like I went off track there. Oh yeah, that wasn't a question. You just talking about this Switch 2 coverage, yeah. But console does look dope, and I hope everyone gets to own one because it does look really cool, and the games for it so far look really great. Zolo asks, do you think this quirky physics system will be kept as a staple within the franchise? I think it's become enough of a staple within the Elder Scrolls franchise. I think so to a degree. I don't know. Maybe they wanna no longer be known for being one of the jankiest open world games. So maybe Elder Scrolls 4 will be like, hey, here's what we can do with Elder Scrolls with more modern technology. So maybe they'll fix that and make things a little more realistic. But I guess some would argue that some of the goofiness, like the ragdoll animations, it's part of the charm. So maybe some people would miss it. I don't know. I'd be curious to see what decisions they make on that front. Lord Beer says, as much as the OG leveling was fun, min-maxing was redundant, or else some attribute scores wouldn't reach 100 points like luck. you had to take the thief sign, level subclasses, and then main levels, etc. I still have fun. Yeah, it's fair, and that's what I mean. Like I think they should. It's okay to work out the kinks of the leveling system. It wasn't perfect. It had its flaws, so like fix those flaws and um, spruce it up where it needs to be spruced up. Just don't like overhaul it and like you know make it less than what it was. Don't like streamline it to a point where it's unrecognizable, but definitely fix what was wrong, what issues the original leveling system had while still retaining the core of how that leveling system worked. It is kind of my personal preference, but we'll see what they introduce. I'm sure they'll talk about all the changes that they've made. Cat Game says, hello, you think it's going to be a flop like Cyberpunk or flop like Intergalactic? Well, Cyberpunk was not a flop. Like, obviously, it had a rough launch, and all of that is worth highlighting. But Cyberpunk is one of the best-selling games ever, like no joke. With the launch of the anime Edge Runners on Netflix, that they had got a huge sales boost, and then with the launch of the DLC, what was it called? Phantom Liberty. There we go. With the release of Phantom Liberty and with all the fixes that they implemented over the course of years, it won back a lot of goodwill, and it sold tens of millions of copies. So a flop like Cyberpunk is not correct because it objectively was not a flop. But do I think this is going to be a flop? Hell no. Are you kidding me? Elder Scrolls 4 Oblivion. Elder Scrolls in general. Like, you release an Elder Scrolls game, remake or no, remake or new entry, that single player, it'll sell like hotcakes. This is going to do. There's no way in hell Elder Scrolls 4 Oblivion flops unless they release the jankiest fucking game, which you would hope. Almost 2 decades after the original came out, coming out with a remaster, they'll have all that polished out and worked out. But it's Bethesda, or specifically Virtuo's Games, like mainly helming this, since Bethesda is busy developing Elder Scrolls 6, but still under the Bethesda banner. I'm hoping that they really nail this launch and that it is a polished product and not some janky technical mess. Spooky Nuke, how boring was Delaware? For the stuff that I want to do in life, like entertainment, voice acting in general, that just wasn't the place to be. I think it's a really peaceful place to retire to. In the region of Delaware that I was in, and there's some there's neat stuff there for sure. It just didn't suit my goals, my preferences, my needs. And so, yeah, that's why I had to get out of there and move to LA, because I know this is where I'd find my purpose, I suppose. I kind of felt a bit stuck in Delaware, and so moving out here, it was just like a nice fresh start for new ventures and pursuits. Don't get me wrong, I love YouTubing, but it's not the only thing I want to do in my entire life. I got other aspirations. And that's been working out really well so far. So I'm glad I made a move. Veron Strauss, thank you for the super chat, says, do you think we will get a new Oblivion DLC beyond the original DLC? I doubt it. I don't think. Well, that's a good question. Maybe if it does so well that they're like, we have to make more content and like milk it. Sounds kind of harsh, and because if it is a good DLC, then all you're doing is just giving people more of what they want. But yeah, maybe that's a possibility. I never thought about that. I do think they're going to mainly focus on making sure the core experience is good, and from what rumors say and what reporters have been reporting from based on information that their sources gave them, the remaster here, or the remake, whatever, will include all of the DLC. So Knights of the Nine and Shivering Isles will be a part of this package, which I hope that I think that's the standard. You can't just sell that separately. It better be like a complete edition, is what I'm hoping for. But new Oblivion DLC, I don't know. That seems it could be risky to kind of add more to a familiar experience, because if they fuck up that DLC, it might taint the reputation of Oblivion. So they have to be careful with that, but not impossible. Let's see. Alchemir Star says, yo, Yong, sounds like you've been sick a little. Sounds like you've been a little sick for a while. Hope you feel better soon, my friend. Appreciate the consistency and quality of your work. I think it's just early, and I do get some morning allergies, so I don't feel sick. I just woke up like an hour ago, at 6 a.m., and I'm not a morning person really, so I'm just a little groggy, little morning grog. Ray Awesome says, will Skyrim be remastered as well? Young? I hope that they remake Morrowind. I think that's the best. I think that's the course to take. If they're gonna remake another Elder Scrolls game, remake Morrowind. That's a lot of people's favorites, and seeing that game in a modern lens would be fucking incredible. So that's my proposition. That's what I'm hoping for. But I would not be shocked if a decade down the line, a decade or two down the line, Skyrim did get like a remake or remaster or whatever. Because it's Skyrim we're talking about. It needs as many re-releases as it can get. Right. Frida Rules 45. Thank you for the super chat. Says, hey Yong, not sure if you answered this already, but what are your thoughts on the Skyblivian mod now that the remake is coming? I think it's a really nice thing that Bethesda has not shut down Skyblivion. If this were a Nintendo, they'd be like, well, it was kind of like how they shut down. I think somebody did like a fan remake of Metroid 2, but turns out Nintendo was making a remake of Metroid 2 for the 3DS, and so they went after that project and shut it down. Whereas like with Bethesda, they're remaking Oblivion, and here's a mod team doing a fan remake of Oblivion, but Bethesda allowed them to be like to keep working on it, even though it could potentially serve as competition. And so that's neat. And what I think about Skyblivion is that it's, from the screenshots that I've seen, I think the remaster fidelity-wise does look better, but the Skyblivion mod, aesthetically, it's a bit more true to the original Oblivion in terms of like the color palette. On top of the fact that it's still a labor of love, so I'll be honest, I'm excited to play both. I think Oblivion Remastered will feel more modernized. It is going to run on a more modern engine. There's just more things you can do with it, probably from a modding capability or from a modding perspective. I mean, it's combat, and I think it's just going to be a better feeling, more modern feeling game. So I do think, and it's going to be the official release. But that doesn't mean Skyblivion shouldn't be looked at and considered. I think it's still something that a lot of people are going to engage with when it comes out. And I think, it's gonna be another neat thing on top of another neat thing, basically. I'm in full support of the Skyblivion mod, and I wish him the best. Cat Game, thank you for the super chat. Says, also, ask if it gonna flop. Is it gonna be like AC Shadows because the game's so repetitive and bad AI, or have any opinions? Oblivion remaster? I don't know. Like I don't know if it's gonna have bad AI. It's impossible to say. Bethesda AI hasn't always been the best though, so if the track record of Bethesda games is anything to go by, I don't think they're gonna have the best AI ever. But I don't know. Maybe they've learned a lot from like Starfield and before, and and the games that have come out before then, and like have made Oblivion Remaster the one of the most developed Bethesda games, one of the most polished Bethesda games, is what one can hope for, but it's Bethesda. So polish is one of those things that it's difficult to like polish at the level of some other games we've seen. It's just not. That's not in Bethesda's wheelhouse. From what we have seen, maybe Oblivion Remastered will change that. Tazmeister says, "Hi, Young. Found out this week I'm going to be a dad. Holy crap, dude. That is incredible. Congratulations. May your child be introduced. May your child prosper joyfully, and may your child experience gaming and all the wonderful things it has to offer when they're able to partake in that activity." But that's awesome, dude. Congratulations. He says, I can't believe I'm gonna have a baby before Elder Scrolls 6 comes out. Used to joke about that. Plan to enjoy Oblivion Remake / Remaster while I still can. Vic Boss, hell yeah, dude. Yeah, at least there's gonna be a nice like bridge between Skyrim and Oblivion. Like something Elder Scrolls related to keep us busy before 6 comes out. I think that it's a smart move on Bethesda's part to like give us something, because Elder Scrolls fans have been starved for far too long. Congrats, dude, though, man. That's you know, that is a very joyful news indeed. J-Dax says, thank you for the super chat, J-Dax. You think we'll have to rebuy the horse armor? We know there's like a leaked marketing material that says it comes with like the deluxe edition of Elder Scrolls 4 Oblivion Remastered. And so I think if you get the base game, yes, I think you will have to rebuy horse armor, which is both like a cheeky joke and kind of messed up that the thing that kickstarted the microtransactions era, they're just kind of like ha-ha-haing about it when it changed the industry and for the worse. But it is kind of funny that they're being cheeky about it. But yeah, I don't know. So mixed feelings for me personally. But yeah, we do know horse armor is going to be a thing. And very much, you can very much feel the comedic intent behind it, but whether it's funny depends on your perspective. Fajita, thank you for the super chat. Says, love the content, man. Keep up the great work. That's very kind of you. Making content requires a great audience to motivate the creators to keep making that content. So, kudos to you guys for tuning in as well. The Lubin the Morning. The Lubin the Morning? Is that what? Whatever. Hi, hey, Young. Any thoughts or expectations for the Steel Ball Run anime? They finally announced it. I mean, it's gonna be faithful to the manga in most respects. I think it's gonna be awesome. It's a lot of people's favorite JoJo. I had the honor, for those who don't know, of playing the main villain of JoJo Part 6, A Stone Ocean. Steel Ball Run is Part 7. And my character being the main villain of Part 6 kind of resets the universe or whatever, just little things. And so Steel Ball Run is like almost like a fresh start for the JoJo series. It's like this is a new timeline almost. So if you haven't, tuned into JoJo's 1 through 6, you can kind of start with 7 and be okay. It will have some references to the main, the first timeline and the like, but for it is its own story and its own arc, 7 and beyond. And then 1 through 6, that has a through line though. That is one big arc, like over the course of different eras. That is from parts 1 through 6 are like sequels of each other. My expectations, though, I think it's gonna fuck, and I think it's gonna be incredible, and it's gonna be hype as hell. Christian Dominguez says, "Will we have to pay for the DLC horse?" I think somebody else asked that question. I believe yes is the answer. MetaFace72, thank you for the generous super chat here. Everyone brings up inflation to justify the price increase of games, but no one mentions how much more Nintendo's profit margin is. Nintendo makes way more money now than they did in the 90s and will still be successful at 60. Yeah, I mean, if they kept it at 70 for Mario Kart World, I think it wouldn't be such a big backlash. But the fact that they're pricing that at 80 when they don't really need to make Mario Kart 8 or Mario Kart World a successful product, combined with Nintendo setting their games at $80, some of them at $80. The fact that that's just raising the floor for the industry as a whole is what really pisses me off. Like, you can bet your ass that other companies are aware that Nintendo's doing this, and when Mario Kart World sells as well as it's going to sell because it's Mario Kart, other companies are going to almost see that as like permission from the audience, from the gaming community, to raise their prices to $80. And so, yeah, no, Nintendo have effectively raised the floor of MSRP for video games. And so all of gaming just got more expensive because of Nintendo. Price increase for games over time is inevitable, but Nintendo just accelerated that. And that kind of pisses me off, especially during this economic era when things are not looking good and, the tariffs and the impact that that's having on the economy across the world. And and wages not keeping up with inflations, all that jazz that I've already kind of talked about. So yeah, I concur. Metaphase 72. Austin Karaz, thank you for the super chat. Says, you think fixing the jank and features that came with the original Oblivion might diminish some of the charm? To a degree, it depends on what we're talking about. But there are just some things about that game that were utterly broken and should not, like, there's nothing charming about some of the issues that Oblivion had, and a lot of the issues that Elder Scrolls games and Bethesda games in general have using the same creation engine, or I forget what it was called before they labeled the creation engine. It had another name, but some of the ragdoll physics, maybe that's kind of charming here and there, and people won't care about that. But, when quests don't work as intended, when bugs lead to unintended deaths and frustrations in moment-to-moment gameplay, that's the stuff where I'm like, nah, that's not funny anymore. It's 2025. Like, it's time to get that shit together and to ship a game that has consideration for how frustrating it can be when the jank gets too janky, So, yeah, maybe you retain some of the more memed stuff from the original, maybe, but like, I'd prefer that they fix most of the jank, Like, I just like playing a smooth game, and the charm really comes from the world, the setting, the story, the quests, the gameplay, the RPG systems, the moment-to-moment events that happen, all the storylines, and there's just the sense of discovery and exploration within that world. That's where the charm of Oblivion is. Jank is just, it has some fun aspects to it, but not all. A lot of it just isn't fun for me personally. Like, within reason, is all I'm saying. Small time. Thank you for the super chat. Says, oh shit. Oh man, I'm trying to keep up as best I can with some of these. A lot of super chats coming in, from great ones like Mafia to the shitty ones like GTA. What do you think Saber should and shouldn't do with KOTOR Remake besides, actually releasing it? That's tough, man. I think KOTOR is such an old school RPG that they do have to, on some level, I don't know. Honestly, that's a tough one. I don't know. That is such a sacred game that I don't know what they can fuck with and what they shouldn't fuck with, to make sure that they appeal to both the old school fans and so that they still managed to kind of make it appealing to modern audiences as well. I think, like, follow the Baldur's Gate 3 model. Keep that complexity, because Baldur's Gate 3 is such a complex game but it's also a very smooth playing game. Like it's intuitive to play, but it's got this old school RPG feel as well in many sense. Like it respects the intelligence of the audience and allows for system complexities that people can experiment with. So yeah, don't I would say don't be afraid of complexity, Kotor. Don't be afraid of the audience that you're ultimately trying to appeal to. Wow, but still like still keep in mind the modern game design sensibilities and work with those. Tyler Dermiel, thank you for the super chat. Says, "Hey Young, love your content. Been watching for years. You think the remake will launch with their usual Bethesda workshop stuff, or do you think they will do something more friendly to the fan base?" I would not be shocked if they haven't. Yeah, they've continued to do Bethesda workshop stuff, so I think they will, to a degree. But it never gained that much traction. Mods, honestly, just kind of free content, free community content. That tends to be what people lean towards. So unless the content is so compelling that people feel the necessity to partake in the Bethesda workshop stuff, I think mainly they're gonna make this game moddable, so the lifespan of this game continues for a long time in the way that Skyrim, even after over a decade, it continues to go strong. Chris Cevallos says, "Hey Young, ever gonna finish MGS lore videos? Long-time fan since before MGS 5 came out. LOL." Oh man, OG fans. I'd love to hear from you guys. Man, I just think my priorities have shifted so much since Kojima left Konami. I don't know. It's just I have only so much time in one day, and my attention is spread across numerous pursuits right now. And MGS lore videos, I mean, the amount of time that it takes to put those together, it was just yeah. For what I have in my plate right now, that is not my top priority, but hopefully it's something I can revisit one day when I don't know, when I just have more time in my hands, when that's something I can prioritize without compromising other areas that I feel currently are more of a priority in terms of what I'm pursuing and what my hopes and dreams are for my future. Ray Awesome says, "Young, you're a shining light in a world of greed. I wish the corporates would stop being so greedy." I do agree that I also wish corporates would stop being so greedy, but just by their nature, they have they have to be greedy to make the corporation system work. If that makes sense. And look, I'm just like I'm no like shining light. Everything that I say is it's obvious stuff. I'm not curing cancer here. Like I'm just sharing thoughts and opinions. I'm just getting things off my chest. It's kind of what I do. I have my ideals about how things should be, and obviously a lot of like-minded folks on this channel, which is appreciated. But all I do is basically good thing good, bad thing bad. You know what I mean? And that's kind of the summary of like what I do. I just go into detail as to explain what the situations are, so you guys can keep track of the news and all the sources where the news came from as easily as possible. And yeah, I have my takes, but yeah, I'm just one channel in a sea of voices who feel the same way about good things being good and bad things being bad, and greed being just such an unnecessary aspect of this society that diminishes our ability to lift each other up instead of putting others down for nefarious and selfish intent. The Alchemist guy says, "Do you think the backlash for..." And thank you for the super chat, that Alchemist guy, and thank you for a lot of super chats today. I appreciate that. "Do you think the backlash for game prices would be as as it is now if GTA 6 had done it first with the rumored $100 price point. Yeah, the thing is like new egregious practices, companies push for normalization, right? I do think eventually, just like how $70 had become standard and nobody blinks an eye anymore, whereas like when NBA, I think it was NBA 2K first did a $70 game, people were fucking pissed, right? But eventually everyone else started doing it and people just kind of accepted it as normal. That's what's going to happen with $80 games. That's what pisses me off about this whole situation is that I know this will be the new normal. That's just how it tends to go. You know, uh, all the companies will follow suit, and for the initial moments when we see games become $80, there's going to be a lot of backlash. But eventually, that's going to be standardized. People will be like, well, there's nothing we can do about it since companies seem intent on selling games for $80 and people are still buying them. So, you know, the market dictates what it does, which is that people will still pay $80 for Mario Kart World. And with GTA 6, I mean, that's going to be the best selling, highest grossing entertainment product of all time. Like in the history of entertainment, that's going to be the it's going to blow movies and other video games out of the water. GTA 6. Even if it's priced at $80, GTA 6 will do incredibly well. So, if GTA 6 had done it first and then Nintendo followed suit, then no, the backlash wouldn't be as intense because that would become the new normal. But because Nintendo is the one kind of launching this new normal that sucks but will eventually become normal, they're facing the full brunt of the initial backlash that will eventually peter out when $80 becomes something that people just kind of accept. Which is, it sucks that that's how it's going to work out, but that's just the reality of how this stuff works. Growan, thank you for the super chat. Says, do you think they'll shadow drop the game today? That's the rumor that as soon as the stream's over, they're going to be like, oh, by the way, the game's out now. Which will be sick. So either that or they're going to be like, it's going to come out like tomorrow or within the week. It's not going to come out in months from now. It's going to come out like very, very soon. Like the drop for this is imminent. Let's see. Did I miss any super chats here? I want to make sure I cannot read this name because it's a Japanese. Says, yes, the Japanese name. He says, my favorite line of yours is Kiryu is when you said he's hoarding all that money like a dragon. Infinite wealth is all he thinks about. Yeah. Or when I said, oh shit, what happened? All right, something crashed here. My chat crashed. What the fuck? One sec, folks. What is happening? Gotta get back to my command center for the stream. Let's see. Where is it? Go live. There we go. Okay. We're still live, right? Okay, we're still live. Silver Boo says, RIP chat, we all died. No, you're back. We're back. There we go. I have resurrected you all. We have respawned. Okay. What was I saying? Yeah, thank you for for the fun little bit there. Yeah, no, I mean, as always, having played that character is one of the most legendary characters in gaming. It's an honor beyond words. But yeah, he's hoarding all that money like a dragon. Infinite wealth is all he thinks about. The writers were cooking with that one. That was the most emotional line by far. Anyway. Ray Awesome says, did you buy horse armor, Yong? Be honest. Back in the day when Oblivion launched, I actually never bought horse armor. No joke. I think I might have just downloaded it from websites and things. Back in the day when, yeah. And I was just like, that's bullshit. I'm not paying $5 or I forget how much it was. I'm like, I'm not paying for that. And I mean, mods took care of it. You know what I mean? Mods had cooler horse armor and shit. So I'm like, what the why would I purchase horse armor? Fuck that shit. Fuck that noise. Cinema Backlog says the $80 price point would be more digestible if we actually got to own the games. That's a great point. Like, no joke, that is such a good point. If we had physical cartridges, and I mean, well, I think for games like Mario Kart World. Oh shit. Oh shit. Soon it begins. Sorry, what was I saying? that kind of came out of nowhere. Yeah, there are some physical games on the Switch too where the full game will be in the cartridge. So like Cyberpunk 2077 Ultimate Edition, that has all the content that's come out, and I think all the patches basically. I'm sure it'll be patched more down the line, but like for the most part, the whole game is in the cartridge. That's how you do it. You know what I mean? That I'd pay $70 for it, not 80. I would not. I'm still not feeling $80 games, but at least the stuff like that makes it more digestible for sure. Where you know that even when servers go down decades later, that cartridge, as long as you take care of it, you can plop it in and play the game because all the data is in that cartridge. But more and more, we're seeing a lot of companies trying to push for digital or physical media that might as well just be like a more convenient version of digital because you still require a download. And so down the line, when servers shut down, guess what? You're screwed. That disc will be useless. You know what I mean? Because the game data isn't actually in there. So, yeah, I totally concur with that assessment. Mastery says, respect the modesty, Young, but you're pretty good. Well, I appreciate you, but I don't think I'm being modest. I think that's just truth. But I suppose everyone, that's just my opinion, though. Just one man's take, as a certain YouTuber would say. But I do appreciate the kind words. Grand, thank you for the super chat. Says, you prefer Elder Scrolls or Fallout as a series? I'm in love with Elder Scrolls. It is one of my favorite series of all time. Hell, I'd say like Zelda, Metal Gear are top, and then Elder Scrolls is like, it's like top 3 favorite series ever. So for me, it's Elder Scrolls. I still love Fallout. Don't get me wrong, but there's just something about the setting of Elder Scrolls and its lore and the world and the fantastical elements and the way Bethesda specifically does it that just draws me to it. Damn, this is so hype right now, you guys. Oh yeah, I can actually maximize this now. 4K. My monitor is 1440, so I'll put it there. And yeah, a little background music to help pass the time. Ace Red, thank you for the super chat. And it says, "Hey Yong, I just want to say thanks for being so inspiring." Wow, that's I don't know, that's a lot to be. Taking a deep dive into acting classes so I can get started on my own voice acting career, which I only felt inspired to follow through on thanks to you. Well, there's nothing more fulfilling than being in a position where you can inspire others to pursue something, So it means a lot that you say that. And trust me, I myself was inspired by other people and their work ethic and seeing them kind of pursue and achieve their goals and dreams. And so, that's phenomenal, dude. That's how everyone starts. All the voice actors, all the greatest actors, they all started from somewhere, right? And the important thing with any pursuit, any dreams, any goals is to start. To just like do it. Just start somewhere. Don't just sit around and twiddle your thumbs and wait for it to fall in your lap, because that's just never going to happen. You got to go after it. And so the fact that you're already like taking the steps to like go after it, that is how it begins. You know what I mean? That's how every great thing starts. Every great talent, every great person who's done, iconic things, it all began with them going, you know what? Fuck it. Let's just do it. Let's see what happens. So, still be strategic about it. A lot of people, they're just like, I'm just going to pack up and go to LA, and like not realize like the kind of, I'm gonna just, with $5 in my bank account, I'm just gonna move to LA, and it's like, that's not the smart way to do it. You don't have to necessarily be like a starving artist to make your way into the arts and become an artist, whether it's acting or otherwise. Just like, chase your dreams strategically, but don't. But like have that focus and have that intent and go after it when the time is right, and with the right mindset. But dude, I wish you the best. It's voice acting is like it's so much fun. I feel so lucky that I get to do this for a living, and I wouldn't trade it for anything else. More than anything, it's a passion project for me that I get to go in the booth and just have fun. Uni Warrior Thomas, thank you for the super chat. That says, thanks for the respawn. You got it. Got your back always. Thank you for this. That's the username of this individual. Says, do you think they'll patch the bugs and quests? I think so. Right? They have to. That's one of those janky aspects of Oblivion that I'm like, that's not fun. That needs to be patched. There's nothing charming about that janky element of Oblivion. So I do think they're going to fix a lot of things, and I would hope so, Brotherly Bruh, that's a great name, says, thank you for the super chat, says, I want to see the Pokemon price. I just know those fans would pay $80 for that, despite how behind it is. Sadly, looks like copy-paste MMO in 2000s after World of Warcraft got big. Oh, the new Pokemon game. I think that's gonna be $70 probably. You can tell that the Pokemon games just aren't up to modern standards, and I think in large part it has to do with developers just not having enough time. Because yes, Pokemon makes a lot of money, but it's on such a regimented schedule because the games have to line up with the show. But even then, it just feels like they can make some efforts to step it up more than they have. Oh shit, paused by accident. Because the Pokemon games they've really fallen behind, and the level of jank that we see in some of the more modern Pokemon games is just not acceptable anymore. Gary says, I think you missed my super earlier. Oh damn, sorry man. I'm trying to keep up as much as I can, but some of this chat's scrolling by pretty quickly. I apologize for anything I miss. Sitsei, thank you for the super chat, says, do you think Elder Scrolls 6 is going to be on Xbox Game Pass? Oh, yeah. Yeah, I think it will be. I also think it's going to be multi-platform. Xbox has said before that, that they are no longer in the competitive space of exclusivity, that they want to make their games as accessible as possible. And so they're aiming for their games to come to both PlayStation and Xbox, PlayStation and Nintendo down the line, is what they've said. Tyler Dernmule, thank you for the generous super chat, says, Oblivion was my first and favorite Elder Scrolls game. Watched the X-Play review, hopped on my bike, spent all my paper route dollars on it, 2 hours making a character and liking the review, climbed the first mountain I saw, jumped to my death. What was your favorite unique moment? Oh man. God, for my favorite unique moment was completing the Thieves Guild quest and getting that gray fox mask. And for those who played Oblivion, you know how that works, right? And so, like, being able to, like, commit crime and fuck around with that mask was, like, one of the coolest things. I remember, like, loving the Thieves Guild quest and, like, the reward at the end and what you can do with it and becoming the Gray Fox. I don't know. That was hype as fuck for me. As someone who, like, loves playing stealthily, thieves-like characters, assassin-like characters in fantasy games and tabletop and stuff, that felt like that fantasy come true kind of moment. So yeah, I fucking love Oblivion, man. Let's see. Smeg Magician says, I could see a DLC about the creation of the Thalmor and alluding to the upcoming war. Ooh, that'd be dope. You know, there are possibilities for them to add content in this Oblivion remake. So I would not be opposed against it. You know what I mean? Or I would welcome it as long as they do it well and they don't. It's not some cash in that not a lot of effort was put into. It better be. I want it to feel like a Shivering Isle style expansion. Ben Darweezy Nunez M, thank you for the super chat, says, the nostalgia's hitting hard. Used to play this game with my mom when I was young. Almost 20 years later, we're planning on playing it together again. Oh, that is so wholesome, dude. Man, when I first played Oblivion, I remember I first saw it in, like, Game Informer and being so excited about it, and then I got the game, but my PC was so not a gaming PC. It was so shit. And I was running it at like 640 by 360 resolution or something. Like the lowest resolution at the lowest settings possible, just so it wasn't choppy enough, or it was still playable, but still had a blast. And then once I got like a proper gaming PC, I really like modded the hell out of it and had a blast. But yeah, this was like when we couldn't afford a gaming PC and we had to use what we had, and it ran so bad, you guys. I can't believe I tolerated those graphics and that frame rate back then. But, you know, you did what you could with what you had. Lightning Eagle says, thank you for the super chat, says, do you think Oblivion Remastered will have controller support? Also, love the videos. Oh, yeah. Without question, it'll have controller support. That is a universal thing to support with games in this modern day and age. YouTube user just Bread. Hello, Bread. I love Bread. I love you, buddy. Thank you for the super chat. Says, hey, Yong, hope you're having a great day. I remember you said you were buying a Switch 2. Do you still plan on it, or has Nintendo convinced you not to? Well, the thing is, it's my job to cover Switch 2. You know what I mean? It's kind of, I still need to be in the know about it. So, being in the profession that I'm in, I do want to buy one. And that way, I'm like a consumer who has spent money on the console, and I can like speak to what it's like actually using the Switch 2, but also what it's like being in that ecosystem in terms of all the costs associated with it. So, yeah, for work, I do want to buy a Switch 2. And also on a personal level, I still do think the hardware and the games are cool, and I do want to play some of those games. But I do have a lot of thoughts about the business model, which I've already talked about in the myriad videos that I've released and that I've talked about in this stream as well. Cameron Nixon, thank you for the super chat. Says, hey, Yong, keep up the good work. Super excited to see the remake, as I missed the train on the original back in the day and never got around to going back. Oh, I'm so jealous. I wish I could erase my memories of Oblivion and relive it for the first time. Dude, if you didn't beat the game back then, you're in for a treat. Just have a great ride, as long as they do the remake justice and they do it right. Revin1231, thank you for the super chat, says, I love Oblivion. Just met Wes Johnson 2 weeks ago and got him to sign Sheogorath 8x10 print. Oh, that's awesome, dude. Love your videos and thanks for everything. No, thank you, man. Thank you. So much generosity in this chat currently. That's awesome. I would love to meet Sheogorath's actor. Man. Yeah, I did that. Iconic. Sandra the Taffer, thank you for the super chat. It says, thank you for the amazing content over the years. You're one of my favorite folks on here. Oh, I appreciate you. I hope the remake is everything you want it to be. Me too. I hope it's everything you all want it to be as well. Oh, there's music. I'm getting chills just listening to it. Oh, I fucking love the music in Oblivion is iconic. It's like it's ingrained in my brain. 3 more minutes. Let's see how many more super chats can we get through. Hirogetsu, thank you for the super chat. Says, hey Young, I hope you'll review my game one day. I mean, if it looks fun, I'll certainly check it out. Xana Dude, thank you for the super chat. Says it's kind of crazy that Pokemon gets AAA sales numbers but doesn't have nearly the same AAA budget or work put into it. Pure complacency. Yeah, I do agree, but again, I just think it's a matter of like devs, not the timeline being so strict because of the correlation between the games and the show and how quickly I have to release the games. Eric Diaz says, we got Oblivion Remastered before Elder Scrolls 6. We sure did. And again, I do think it's a nice bridge to Elder Scrolls 6. So I personally don't... I like that they have this in between. Moody SB, thank you for the super chat. Says, hope I don't die in the next 5 to 15 minutes. Yeah, don't do that. I would not advise that. And let's live through this. This is too momentous for us to fuck around with death. That Socialist Gamer says, shout out to Bethesda for not only not cease and desisting Skyblivion, but also helping them go through the legal loopholes for that mid to be able to release. Bethesda's been really chill about Skyblivion, which I really appreciate them for. I totally concur. Thank you to that Socialist Gamer for the super chat. James Diochtar, sorry if I mispronounced that. Thank you for the super chat. Says, what a shame I have to go to a meeting in an hour. Oh, that sucks. I have to go? Damn. Delay that meeting. You got to be here for this. Let's see. Calvin Franco says, hey, y'all, I've been a fan for a while, and all I want to say about Nintendo is you guys are finally suffering this same pay we Latin Americans, especially Brazil, suffers the prices of Nintendo games. Haha. My condolences. And that sucks. I don't know what to say except that sucks. I know some regions really get the brunt of gaming prices, which is not great. Yancy Sack 264, thank you for the super chat. Says, this game was everything to me years ago. Dude, same. As a kid coming back to school and playing on the 360, oh yeah, I can't wait. I hope it's not messed up or a letdown. Same. So many fond memories. Mina Me says, I hope they keep the Dark Brotherhood questline. Yeah, there's no reason to remove that. They absolutely will, I guarantee you. Thank you for the super chat. Wombat86 says, hopefully Unreal 5 show them they need to put the creation engine out of pasture. We'll see how all this pans out with the... Wait, is this Unreal Engine 5? Hold on. Goals for Oblivion Remastered. Unreal Engine 5. The rumor seems to be that it is an Unreal Engine 5 remake, which would make sense. Oh shit! Here we go. Naveen says, Morrowind or Oblivion? Thank you for the super chat. Oblivion for me personally, but I love Morrowind. It's its own unique thing. Lord Beerus, thank you for the super chat. Says, I'm edging, bro. Weird flex, but okay. And here we go. Now let's shut the jaws of Oblivion. Says N30 Pendragon. Thank you for the super chat. Tim Gladiator. Thank you for the super chat. Okay, let's tune in.
The others, they were taken to the tower.
Oh.
This ends here.
You hold our future in your hands.
Oh. The hero.
Take with you my blessings
of Kavach.
and the hope of the Empire.
Oh my god, I'm getting chills.
Find him and close shut the jaws of Oblivion.
Oh, that voiceover. Remastered. There it is. It's official. It's called Remastered. It should be called Remake. It's such a misnomer in my opinion. But,
Here
either
we
way.
are 20 years later.
Todd. The god Todd. Oh my god, I think that's the magazine.
Think about the Elder Scrolls. To us, it goes beyond game franchise.
Yeah, it's the DNA of Bethesda Game Studios.
Obviously,
100%.
we're working on the 6th chapter here. But what's great about the Elder
Little
Scrolls
tease.
is being able to look back at all of the chapters. Skyrim, Oblivion, Morrowind, Daggerfall, Arena, and each of them try to define role-playing games and open-world games for their generation.
fans got so connected with the worlds we've made and these stories we're telling, and it's really amazing.
Oblivion was a real defining moment in the series and for how we make games as a studio.
Oh man, the nostalgia's hitting me so
I think
hard.
when it comes to a remaster, we want people to feel the way they did then, but it's still a game of its time. You want to keep those bones in place. You want some of that old charm.
Aha! So they're keeping
Coming
some of the
back to
jank.
Oblivion now with this tremendous visual
Old
update
charm.
is absolutely amazing. It's the world I remember, but better.
There's so much there, both for the Elder Scrolls world and also this evolution of our games, I think is really, really important for people to take a look back at.
Looking back and seeing everything we've accomplished in the past 20 years and working with these people, like, it's really special.
Yeah, not a bug, a feature.
Yeah, there are still quite a few people that I've worked with for that long. And
So Oblivion
it
Remake
sort of gave me
or
the warm
Remastered
fuzzies.
It's supposed to be,
Oh my God.
the
it's
file
been
size
20
is
years.
26 times bigger than the original
I think the
Oblivion.
thing that gets
120
me the
gigabytes
most
versus
is the
4.6.
music. Like when you hear that music at the main menu, there's just like
So Oblivion Remaster, 26 times the
there's
detail.
this like flood of nostalgia.
Yes, that is, yeah, that music.
Oblivion
The menu music. Oh,
is the beginning of who I am as an individual, as a game developer. It all starts with this.
I don't even think it took me till release to realize how big this was.
People loved it. Like, they loved it.
yep. Can confirm.
Such a key moment in our history of making games.
Cal
and the evolution
Gresham,
of how we
thank you for
build
the super
these
chat.
worlds, and having players be able to come back and experience that.
Is anybody getting
really
child
amazing.
and watery eyes like me? A little bit.
We had that really special moment of coming out into the world for the first time, what that meant to this game.
Every time we think about Oblivion, it's what if we could give that moment to everybody again?
Hirogetsu, thank you for the super chat. Been a fan since Fallout 4.
87 years ago. For 65 years, I've ruled as Tamriel's emperor.
Oh,
But for all these years, I've never been the ruler of my own dreams.
ugh, Patrick
I
Stewart.
have seen the gates of Oblivion, beyond which
Whoa!
no waking eye may see.
Wow. Wild.
Whether you're reliving these moments or experiencing them for the first time, the world of Oblivion
Wild.
Remastered immediately looks and feels incredible.
Oh, wow.
When we decided to remaster Oblivion, we were really picky about finding the right partner. From the very beginning of this project, we had one rule. We weren't going to do this if we weren't going to be able to do it right. Our partners
Good.
at Virtuous went above and beyond to bring our vision to life. The care and love they've poured into the Oblivion Remaster has been absolutely breathtaking.
Welcome to Paris.
No,
and
you're
welcome to
breathtaking.
Virtuous.
You're all
Our team
breathtaking.
here has been hard at work delivering the best remastered Oblivion experience possible.
Oh,
We've worked with Bethesda Game Studios on other projects in the past, so we know what makes that team and their games special.
oh my God. This is so
We
wild.
wanted to make the remaster more friendly to gamers with modern hardware. This is Oblivion in its most complete form.
So many like familiar visual elements. Oh. The memories are flooding back.
Those familiar with only some
Wow.
Elder Scrolls lore will now be able to experience the events that set the stage for Skyrim. You embark on an epic journey to stop the Mythic Dawn cult.
The time of cleansing draws nigh.
From unleashing the Daedric
Wow.
Prince of Destruction.
It's just,
What
it's like
was
putting
the
on
Oblivion
glasses for the
Crisis?
first time.
What happened to the previous Emperor of Cyrodiil?
Wow.
Why are there only 8 divines instead of 9?
Crazy.
In addition to the core game, the remaster contains all add-ons, including story expansions, Shivering Isles, and Night
Yes!
Nine, so you get the full
Yes!
experience.
On a personal level, it was really important to me to ensure that we're preserving the magic of the original experience. At the end of the day, we're all fans too.
This is a dream project for me, right? I mean,
Kyle Gresham says,
I'm a
I'm
fan.
sold,
I
100
have
out
been
of 10.
always
Oh
a
my
fan.
God.
Well,
Thank
I
you for the
played
super chat.
Oblivion for perhaps 10,000 hours.
Oblivion was my first
10,000?
Elder Scrolls game, and it was one of the games that made me want to be a game developer.
MMA Makila,
The best
thank
way
you for
to
the super
describe
chat.
it would be to call it
I just
a
got
love
home from
letter.
work and saw you're on, and Oblivion, instant click. Goddamn right. Instant
You
click
will find
indeed.
your own path, but there will be blood and death before the end.
For Oblivion, always instant click. Okay, wow. Combat already feels more impactful. The ragdolls seem to be a less crazy. Wow, the particle effects. Yep. Yep.
The technology we used to create the original was cutting edge at the time, but tools have come a long way since then.
Woo. Oh, the Shivering Isles.
The
Oh my God,
original Oblivion is
I
still the
love
heart
this
and
scene.
soul of the remaster, but we use Unreal Engine 5 to
Yes.
help achieve all our visual goals. We think of the Oblivion game engine as the brain and Unreal 5 as the body. The brain drives all the world logic and gameplay, and the body brings to life the experience that players have loved for almost 20 years.
But it's
Wow.
not just about pure fidelity. We knew we had to preserve the distinct style, making it as uniquely Oblivion as possible.
Man. Oh.
The brush opens a portal into the painting. You're stuck
Oh
here
my
like I am.
God, that's so cool.
The Isles, a wonderful place. Good for a visit. Or eternity.
Oh, yes.
We've leveraged nearly every major feature from the latest version of Unreal
Oh my
5.
God, I'm getting so emotional
Our
right
goal
now.
was to push the visuals to the next level using the latest technologies. We created brand new, highly detailed character models and stunning landscapes that use millions of polygons in each asset.
I need
allowing
this
us a
in my
truly
veins.
impressive level of detail in the world. Every single asset in this game was completely redesigned and handcrafted from scratch. We implemented an advanced real-time lighting system that accurately simulates
The
how
Shivering
light
Isles.
interacts with the environment. This results in more realistic lighting and atmospheric effects.
The
While the original
otherworldly
game had limited dynamic shadows,
landmass.
now the entire world reacts naturally to light. We used an incredible
RTX
new lip-sync
on.
technology that really enhanced performance in our characters.
He left us a warning. Heed it.
And real tools helped us create the base mesh of our characters. From there, our artists sculpt each race individually to adapt it to the mesh,
Oh,
allowing us to share
that
the
character
model,
creator.
tweak, and textures. As a result, all races, including Argonians, Orcs,
Oh,
and
it looks
Khajiits,
good.
are built on the same base mesh, making the
Ugh.
lip sync system more effective.
He's creepy, never
even
mind.
when the characters have
No,
very
it
different
overall
facial
does look good. Where's the adoring fan?
We have access to so many modern rendering features. You'll see them in something as simple as running through a forest. Insects flying around, fish swimming in the water, light filtering through the leaves. Thanks to these technological advances, you feel even more immersed in this living, breathing world. You'll really believe you're in
Oh my
Cyrodiil.
God, the vistas.
I believe you can handle a more complicated assignment. I would like you to retrieve a carved panel from the central chamber of the High Thane.
Oh my God, I remember this, dude. I remember this.
It's not just visuals that we've modernized in the remaster.
Gameplay differences?
It's gameplay. It's UI and UX.
Wow. Yeah.
It's
Ooh. It's like familiar yet modernized.
We've updated features and systems across the board.
We've changed the approach to leveling, which I think will make a lot of people happy.
Okay.
It's inspired by the leveling systems of both Oblivion and Skyrim, so it's the best of both worlds.
Okay. Let's see how that works.
We were able to fully recreate the character models, creating a physicality that feels more human. You see that in places like combat
Oh.
animations. There's a lot more separation between the upper and lower body, and all the animations have more flourish. Combat in the original Oblivion didn't have sound effects, visual
Lightning
effects,
spell.
or hit reactions. Now you'll get blood splatters, sparks,
Yeah,
and
combat
controller
looks
feedback.
so much better.
You know, it's a little thing, but little things add up to make the combat more modern and engaging.
It still got some of that like original
As a
ragdoll,
proper
which is
third-person perspective,
part of the charm.
The original had third person, but there was no crosshair, and we felt the experience could be modernized.
Yeah, archery looks so much better here.
One of our goals was to have a third-person view that compared to Starfield in terms of playability. Now, the third-person perspective has all the same control you get from the first-person view.
You have my ear, citizen.
When Oblivion first launched,
Seamless dialogue.
How goes it? How are you?
disk storage limits meant we couldn't have unique voiceovers for all the races. So we've gone back and recorded new lines of dialogue.
Whoa!
Each race represented in the game now sounds unique.
Can't stand the sight of those
New
creatures.
voiceover
We also
recording.
made sure to keep in all of the quirkier dialogue.
I really like
The
way
Todd
they say
Howard
hello.
one?
Sometimes it's so random, and then they just, hi there.
Hi there.
But it's like so nice and creepy at the same time.
You violated the law.
Stop! You violated the law.
Yes!
Stop, criminal scum.
Stop right there, criminal scum.
Cheese for everyone.
Then pay with your blood.
For everyone.
Oh, this is everything.
They're going to steal one of the Elder
This
Scrolls
is everything.
from the Imperial Palace. You need to find the reading room. The blind priests will deliver a scroll to you there. Do not speak to the priests. They're blindfolded. I've chosen you because you are the best. Good luck.
Stop! You violated the law. Your stolen goods are now forfeit. Then pay with your blood.
Yes, he said it. He said the thing.
As games have developed over the past 20 years, players have come to expect a certain suite of tools and controls.
Like sprinting. Sprinting is an interesting one because
Oh,
there's
right.
such a big debate internally among our teams.
I
Some of us
forgot
were
that Oblivion
absolute
didn't have
purists,
sprinting.
But ultimately, we decided it's 2025 and people are going to want to sprint. In fact,
Okay, that
all
animation's
of
a
the
little
character
funky.
locomotion has been completely redone from scratch. And that has a huge impact from the very beginning of the game.
Every single updated or new feature was implemented with the player in mind. It all comes down to what makes Oblivion Oblivion.
Ah, yeah, it
What are
does.
those features that just immediately come to mind for players when they think of the game?
The mini games are the mini games.
It still feels like
They're so
Oblivion, you know?
iconic to Oblivion.
Great. How's it go again?
Like lockpicking.
Yeah,
You
it's
put a fresh coat of paint on it, but
the
you can't
classic.
change it too much because it's part of the core experience.
Yeah, I agree. They're
Whether
doing it
you're
right.
returning to Cyrodiil or you're a newcomer,
I'm going to follow you and watch you and
Oh.
worship the ground you walk on.
you will instantly
Perfection.
feel at home.
That's
It
the
just
creepiest
feels
shit I've
better.
ever seen.
We've modernized
beautiful.
a lot, but it's still the same
Adoring
incredible
fan.
adventure and the same
12 out of
carefully
10.
handcrafted
We'll
world.
change nothing.
Well, it's about time.
Huh.
Do you know how long we've been waiting?
Okay, that's... His hair needs more yellow.
Oblivion is a core part of the story of Bethesda Game Studios. None of what we're surrounded by right now would be here if we hadn't made that game and if it hadn't been the success that it was. The effort that we put into it, the sort of the love that went into it,
Wow.
I think that comes across on the screen.
To have worked on something that people care enough where you're in a position where you can remaster it, it's a privilege.
And now, to help introduce this game to a new generation of players, I feel so lucky.
I really think that people, when they jump back into the remaster, they're going to be shocked at just how good the game looks.
Oh.
Oblivion
Oh.
games look absolutely incredible, and I think they're just going to find
you
themselves
guys.
lost in the world.
Even if it's just the music, for example, just walking around for half an hour in the world, you feel something. And
This is going to be my life for the
precious.
next week.
You're going back to a world that you've been to before.
If it's shadow dropping, like
but
it's rumored.
better somehow. Like it's an intangible thing, but it's like it's new,
Game's out on
it's
Steam
fun,
now? Is that-
like it's
what?
exciting again.
But it's ultimately the same game. There was a lot of respect for what was before, and I think the fans will appreciate that.
From
No
all
way.
of us at Bethesda Game Studios,
And Virtuous.
we want to thank you for joining us today. Oblivion has a very special place in my heart, and being able to
It's
work on this
$50. It's only
remaster
$50?
and bring it to a new generation of players
It's
has
only
been an
$50.
incredible experience.
Holy shit!
We were too excited to get it.
I'll fuck it. I'll get the deluxe edition. The deluxe edition is 60.
I've never been the ruler.
They could have charged 70 for this, and I think people would have been okay.
It's the Oblivion Remaster will be available.
This is the 27th of last.
Oh my god, I'm downloading it now.
Today.
Holy shit. Where's on Steam.
I was born 87 years ago. But for all these years, I've never.
Oh my god, it's here. Holy shit, you guys. It is here.
This is the 27th of last seed. The year of Akatosh 433. These are the closing days of the Third Era. And the final hours of my life.
Yep, I'm installing and downloading now.
Beyond which no waking.
Yep, it's close to 120 gigabytes.
This is only the beginning. Worse is yet to come.
It's downloading.
Looks clear.
I have gigabit internet.
The time of cleansing draws nigh.
Who now will save us from the coming darkness?
Guys, I'm gonna stream this. For me, it's gonna be downloaded in 20 minutes. I'm streaming this. Tune in soon.
Here you must find your own path.
Fuck it. I have to stream this. Oh my god, you guys. It's okay, well the test is still playing the game, but
Find him.
This was an A+ presentation.
The jaws of Oblivion.
Available today. Yeah, they shadow dropped it. And the horse armor. You saw the horse armor there? Well, go forth, my children. Play Oblivion Remastered or tune in soon. I'll be checking. I'll be booting it up for the first time with you guys. I'll set up the stream right after this. But thank you for tuning in, folks. This was awesome. This was awesome. The proof is now in actually playing the game. But yeah, let's see. Yeah, it's downloading. 18 minutes to go till it's downloaded. I'm gonna end this stream for now, and then start a new one. All right. So stay tuned. I want to say I'll be up and running within the hour. Yeah. Let's say 9 p.m. maybe. Yeah. Oh, I can't believe it. I can't believe it. I'm going to be playing Oblivion again. Oh, it's been so long, you guys. It's been so long. All right, folks. Appreciate you all tuning in, all the generous super chats, and yeah, let's do this. I don't think I have anything else to say except I'm hyped, and I'm going to prepare for some gameplay. The shadow dropping is that's an interesting move, but yep. Yeah, I'll see you guys in Cyrodiil. And with that, for now, Yong out.